Hi Cancer, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. This week your key to the week is the Devil card. Where are you getting in your own way? It's likely to be revealed to you this week, and it may come up in a way that is slightly uncomfortable. It may also be a week where you start to really understand where you are being too rigid, where you're holding to some idea or ideal that is not good for you, right? This is a week where really you get a glimpse into your own psyche to understand where you're getting in your own way and how you can stop doing that. What you are holding on to is probably doing more damage than if you were to just let it go, all right? So that being said, the other thing with the Devil card, on a more positive note, this is where we get obsessed about something and we go after it, like with everything that we have. This may actually be a very good week for you to do that kind of thing, to really focus in on where maybe you really do need to lean in, where you maybe do need to add more dedication or a new layer of grit to whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. With that said, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your actions and options this week, you have the Empress. Okay, so the Empress and the Devil, there's two things that you need to watch out for this week, right? There could be some kind of vanity that comes up. The Empress with the Devil cards, that can be where, you know, like where we're feeling ourselves, but we're feeling ourselves maybe just a little bit too much. And hey, listen, I'm not out here trying to dull your shine. If you're feeling yourself, you feel yourself all day long, baby. But this week you might want to just watch out, because you could kind of come across this week as like a little bit almost like holier than thou, or maybe you know, somebody says something to you and it kind of comes across, you know, your answer or your response, it kind of comes across like you're not really considering anybody else's part in what's going on, especially like in a group setting, or if you're working with other people. Watch out for that this week, because they might kind of take it as like, oh, okay, so it's all just you then. The other thing that you probably need to watch out for with the Devil card, gluttony, greed, gluttony, and overindulgence. It's usually not things like substances with this combination. I see this usually as like food, sugar, you know, just things that make you feel good, potentially sex as well. Like this week you could be using you know, things outside to kind of ravenously fill the hole, and you could sorry, that was very inappropriate, Raph. It's just whatever. Okay, you could yeah, and it could just be like this, right? It's like you're reaching for things and it's like before you know it, the whole packet of biscuits is gone. That's me. Right? Like that's a regular thing, obviously. But you get my point. However, this week the frustration level could reach peak. And when it does, this could really force you to say, okay, I'm going to do something about this, or I'm going to address it now. For your communications and conversations, you have the Moon card with the Devil. Okay, so I'm going to be really honest with you. Watch out for communication this week, because you're not seeing things clearly. You're not like this week. And I'm going to say this. If you know me, you know I'm a moon sign Cancer, so I am right there with you, always in the feels. But I'm going to say this week, when, you know, when people say like, oh, you're just emotional because you're a Cancer, like that's usually, it's a cop-out because people want to, you know, whinge about whatever. This week you are overly emotional. This week you are overly sensitive. And when it comes to communications, you're probably not seeing something as objectively as you could. And you may overreact when it comes to a certain situation. So my advice to you would be, especially if you're having conversations that go down memory lane, find a way to remind yourself you're not in that situation anymore. And the reason I say this is because it looks like a conversation that you have triggers some kind of behavior for you, and then before you know it, you're eating out the entire fridge, or you are going through your little black book, and anybody will do. I don't even care if it's the dregs of the dregs of the app, or do you know what I mean? Like you could end up going down a path this week that's just, can be avoided if you acknowledge, okay, I'm really emotionally tied to what we're talking about right now, and I don't feel great about it. What can I do that's more constructive than this? When it comes to those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, it does feel like there is potentially some unfair treatment here this week. I'm not going to lie. However, even with what's taking place, I kind of get the feeling that your reaction it's going to be way beyond what would be considered normal for what's happening. All right. Yes, we all feel things differently. Yes, Cancerians feel at a much deeper level than most people, aside from Scorpios. But again, maybe looking at that, like, why do I feel so deeply reactive to this? For those of you that are employed by somebody else, this week I am going to say to you, like, you're obviously still doing a good job, but it may be, and especially with that Empress card, it's like, maybe you see the work that you're doing as better than it maybe is coming across. Maybe your boss calls you on it and you're like, no, I did, this is a good job. Like, this is some of my best work. In a week's time, you might look back on this and think, no, it's probably not. Okay, just something to consider. For those of you that are self-employed business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, again, you're seeing something through the eyes of your own glamour. Okay, and watch out for this, because it will come up in a conversation where maybe somebody says something to you, and to them they're just pointing something out where they actually think, I'm just trying to help you. Whereas, your response is like, you take it really personally, and everybody does. When it comes to your work, it's hard not to take it personally, right? But just be mindful of that. And then finally, when it comes to those of you that are retired and no longer working for any reason, because the Moon card is the past, right? And with this Empress card, I think this is for a lot of you, maybe you're just coming out of a hard sort of moment, or maybe you're coming out of a bit of a funk. And then it's like this week, somebody says something to you and it's like, right, back into the Cancer cave, going back into the funk. I'm right there with you. And it's like, now that I know this, because obviously this is my moon sign, I am going to be alert. Like, so if anything comes up this week, I'm going to be like, okay, first of all, as soon as you hear those words, you know to run. All jokes aside, this, I think, this can be a pivotal week in that regard. Like, if you're just coming out of a bit of a heavy period, this can be a time where you say, okay, it's time to move beyond this. And just as you're getting past it, someone says something and you're like, right, that's it. I'm going back to my friend and I, we call it the Cancer cave. We scurry into that little space. I'm not coming out till I'm ready. This could be that, but I got to be honest with you, you don't have time for it. You got other stuff going on. All right. We already know this. So before we get to your love and relations, if you haven't got your winter solstice seat yet, this is your moment. The link is in the description box. Seats are £33.33. There is going to be me and two very special guests this year. I can't wait. We're going to be talking about the human design, the solstice itself. We're going to be tapping into the magic of the solstice itself. And more importantly, we are going to be delving into all forms of the numerology of the time, what 2023 has in store for us, and even the astrology. So it's going to be a packed session. I really can't wait to see you there. This is like the 5th year that I'll be running this, which is amazing and crazy to me, and it gets better every year. So it would be wonderful to have you there. For your love and relations, you have the Knight of Swords. If you are single, look, I gotta be honest, like, this could be a week where maybe everyone's like, okay, like, You know, for some of you, it's the Knight of Swords, which is a fast card with the Empress. Fast amore with the Moon card and the Devil. Like, you know, this might be a week where, like I say, there's a potential that you're trying to fill a space that is, it's not that it's unfillable, it's just you're trying to bridge a gap with things that aren't, with materials that aren't necessarily doing it. All right, like it would be better if you could find someone that you genuinely care about to just give you a hug, like a really long hug, rather than, you know, really, I mean, but, you know, if you want to go out and just enjoy yourself, and it looks like you definitely can and will this week, then do that. If that's what you need to get this funk out of your system, then go ahead for it. More power to you. If you know it's not, and after you're just going to feel worse about yourself, find a better alternative. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, it could get a little rocky this week, but the makeup sex will be great. That's it. So straight up as I'm going to give it to you. For your money and materials, you have the Knight of Cups. Look at this, right? 2 knights represents intimacy, partnership, sexual energy, sexual appetites, etc., and true intimacy. So there's a lot of that this week that can come out of this week, but it is potentially, you know, somewhat tainted. So you just need to be mindful. When it comes to your money, your finances, and your resources, the Knight of Cups is a solid offer that's coming in. But again, you might not be seeing it objectively. And maybe, just maybe, yeah, like whatever it is that's offered to you, whether it's overtime, whether it's a new job, whether it's a passion project, whether it's a side hustle, you're either seeing it in a distorted light, or because you yourself are not necessarily at your best, you're not seeing it in the way that it's meant. And so be careful, because you might misconstrue something this week. For your physical health and vitality, the Knight of Cups for me is all about your internal waters. If you are going to be amorous with multiple partners this week, just be careful. When it comes to your home and environment, the Knight of Cups, I mean, you might as well, you know, install a revolving door this week. Either you are going to be constantly on your travels, or your door's constantly going to be flapping. All right, like there's someone coming and going. Home is going to be busy this week for various reasons, depending on your circumstances. It would be amazing to see you at the winter solstice. Link is in the description box below. Take care, and I'll see you soon.